Psalm 151 is a unique psalm that focuses on the life and experiences of David, particularly his anointing by God and his victory over Goliath. It is not part of the Hebrew Bible, but is found in some Christian traditions, particularly the Eastern Orthodox Church, as part of the Apocrypha or Deuterocanonical books. This psalm offers a reflection from David himself on his divine selection, humble beginnings, and victorious faith in God. Below is the text of Psalm 151, often thought to be a personal reflection or testimony by David. Psalm 151, I was small among my brothers, and the youngest in my father's house. I tended my father's sheep. My hands made a harp, my fingers fashioned a lyre. And who will tell my Lord? The Lord himself, it is he who hears. It was he who sent his messenger and took me from my father's sheep, and anointed me with his anointing oil. My brothers were handsome and tall, but the Lord was not pleased with them. I went out to meet the Philistine, and he cursed me by his idols. But I drew his own sword. I beheaded him, and took away disgrace from the people of Israel. Context of the psalm, verses 1 to 2. David begins by reflecting on his humble beginnings. He was the youngest of his brothers, and worked as a shepherd for his father, Jesse. This is reminiscent of the biblical story in 1 Samuel 16, where the prophet Samuel is sent by God to anoint the next king of Israel. David, though young and unimportant in the eyes of his family, is chosen by God to be king. Verse 3. This verse suggests that David was gifted with music, playing the harp and lyre, which highlights his artistic and spiritual connection with God. This ties into the larger biblical narrative, where David is described as a man after God's own heart. Verse 4. God is the one who sent the messenger to anoint David. No. And it was God's will that David would rise from his humble station to be the king of Israel. Verses 5 to 6. David contrasts his own unremarkable appearance with the tall and handsome brothers who were passed over by God. The narrative then moves to the famous story of David's battle with Goliath, where David, empowered by God, defeats the giant Philistine warrior. David recounts how, despite being mocked and cursed by Goliath, he defeated him using Goliath's own sword, removing the shame from Israel. Significance of Psalm 151. Divine selection. The psalm highlights that God's choice for leadership doesn't follow the human standards of strength, beauty, or stature. David, the youngest and least likely candidate, is chosen by God to fulfill a great destiny. Empowerment. David's victory over Goliath is portrayed as a result of God. Empowerment rather than his own strength or skill. This is a recurring theme in David's story, the recognition that God is the one who enables his successes. Spiritual reflection. The psalm underscores David's relationship with God. It's both a personal testimony and a prayer, where David reflects on how God has been with him from his youth, guiding and protecting him. Theological implications. Humility and faith. David's journey from a humble shepherd to the king of Israel reflects the biblical theme of God choosing and using the humble and faithful to fulfill his purposes. David's victory over Goliath serves as a reminder that faith in God, even when facing overwhelming odds, can lead to triumph. Messianic foreshadowing. Although not explicitly messianic, the psalm points toward the idea of a king chosen by God who will lead Israel. In Christian theology, this is often seen as a foreshadowing of Jesus, who, like David, was a humble figure chosen by God to bring salvation to his people. Conclusion. Psalm 151, though not universally accepted in all Christian traditions, serves as a powerful reflection on the role of divine selection, faith, and empowerment. It recounts key moments in David's life, offering a glimpse into his thoughts about God's hand in his journey from shepherd to king. And it emphasizes the importance of trusting in God's guidance and strength.